a war considered the largest and most destructive conflict in human history, is often referred to as the war to end all wars. Yet, ironically, this war laid the foundation for new conflicts and division. This great war, which lasted for 6 years, brought about permanent changes in geography, politics, society, and technology. It is well known that World War II began on 1st September 1939, involving two major rival blocs, the Axis powers, that is Germany, Italy, and Japan, and the Allies, France, Great Britain, the United States, the Soviet Union, and to some extent, China. The events following the end of World War I set the stage for World War II. The Treaty of Versailles in 1919 imposed harsh economic and military restrictions on Germany, severely weakening the country and leading to problems such as hyperinflation and massive unemployment. These hardships fostered deep discontent in Germany, which Adolf Hitler exploited to strengthen the Nazi Party, ultimately becoming the supreme leader of Germany in 1933. Hitler then began to expand Germany's military, disregarding the terms of the Treaty of Versailles, and shook Europe with his aggressive foreign policy. Meanwhile, European nations, instead of opposing Hitler's aggressive policies, adopted a policy of appeasement. Later, in 1938, the Munich Agreement was signed, under which Britain and France allowed Hitler to annex the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia, in the hope that this appeasement would curb his aggression. However, this proved to be a mere illusion. Following this, Hitler's aggression intensified, and he soon took control of the entire Czechoslovakia. Around the same time, in Italy, Benito Mussolini came to power under the fascist ideology, much like Hitler in Europe. These leaders' policies and their determination to make their respective countries powerful played a crucial role in laying the foundation for this war. Meanwhile, Japan began to expand its influence in Asia through aggressive policies. Between 1931 and 1937, Japan occupied Manchuria and large parts of China. The China-Japan War, which began in 1937, became a significant chapter in World War II. Japan's growing power and aggression created war-like conditions in Asia, which later escalated into a vast conflict in the Pacific Ocean. Subsequently, Hitler resorted to diplomacy to advance his plan to invade Poland by signing a non-aggression pact with Soviet leader Joseph Stalin in 1939. This agreement ensured that Hitler had no fear of resistance from the Soviet Union. Finally, on 1st September 1939, Germany invaded Poland, marking the beginning of World War II. Following the attack on Poland, Britain and France declared war on Germany. However, the early months of the war were unusually quiet, a period known as the Phony War. But this calm did not last long. and soon the war engulfed the entire world. In 1940, Hitler planned to invade Western Europe. During this invasion, he adopted the Blitzkrieg or lightning war strategy, which involves swift and overwhelming attacks to defeat the enemy. With this strategy, Germany quickly defeated France and captured Paris. Additionally, the Maginot Line, a series of defensive fortifications built by France along its border with Germany in the 1930s, which was considered impregnable, could not withstand the German invasion. During the same period, in 1941, Hitler decided to invade the Soviet Union, an operation known as Operation Barbarossa. This attack intensified the war on Europe's Eastern Front. The Soviet Union suffered significant losses, but under Stalin's leadership, the Soviet army resisted fiercely and gradually began to push back the German forces. Meanwhile, the war in the Pacific Ocean was also at its peak. Japan, in its bid to strengthen its position in Asia, attacked the American base at Pearl Harbor in December 1941. This attack brought the United States directly into World War II. Consequently, a fierce war erupted between the United States and Japan in the Pacific Ocean. Two major turning points occurred during World War II. The first was the Battle of Stalingrad in 1942-43, where the Soviet army delivered a crushing defeat to Germany. This was the largest and most decisive turning point of the war, marking the beginning of Germany's downfall. The second was the 1944 Normandy invasion by the Allies, known as D-Day. This invasion ended Germany's occupation of Western Europe and brought the war closer to its end. When the Soviet army attacked Berlin in 1945, Hitler, fearing defeat, committed suicide on 30th April 1945, and Germany surrendered on 7th May 1945. This marked the end of the war in Europe, but the war in the Pacific was still ongoing. To end the war, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. This was the most destructive attack in human history, claiming the lives of millions. Following these bombings, Japan surrendered on 2nd September 1945, bringing World War II to an end. World War II completely transformed the world. It paved the way for the formation of the United Nations, aimed at maintaining peace and security in the world. The war also led to the onset of the Cold War, a power struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union. This war brought significant changes in science and technology. However, most importantly, this war taught humanity that war only brings destruction and sorrow, and peace should be our greatest goal. World War II is a crucial chapter in history that not only changed the borders of countries but also influenced human thought and the structure of society. From this war, we must learn to remain vigilant in establishing peace and to take lessons from our history. The devastating consequences of war teach us that peace and coexistence are the true paths to human progress. For more informative content, like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.